YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site.
And false stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets.
Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them.
Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is an ABC News special report.
We're coming on the air because there was an incident at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington, D.C. at the Washington Hilton, attended by thousands of journalists and dignitaries and President Trump. We're hearing reports that there were loud noises and a bang before the room was evacuated.
Terrifying really is the right word for this. It was a chaotic and confusing scene. The dinner had just gotten underway. The first time Trump has ever attended as president. I was sitting about 20 feet from him when all of us in the room heard that loud bang. The president later saying he initially thought that a tray had dropped, but it was immediately clear that that was not the case, as Secret Service agents in full tactical gear, their guns drawn, swarmed in to protect the president. Overnight chaos at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, moments after it began. Law enforcement storming the stage, an agent throwing his body in front of President Trump. It was just after 8:30 p.m., just moments after the national anthem was played at the annual event. The night's performer, Oz the Mentalist, seen talking to President Trump and the First Lady when agents in tactical gear swarmed in to secure the room. Melania Trump visibly shocked, appearing to mouth, "What happened?" Secret Service agents, their weapons drawn, rushing Trump off stage. Some 2,600 guests packed into the ballroom at the Washington Hilton, diving to the ground, ducking under tables. Among the many journalists there, our team here at ABC. Certainly a very unsettling scene, just a few moments into this dinner. But again, we're all just trying to piece together what exactly just happened here.
I'll tell you, I've not seen moments like this since I was with the president in Butler, Pennsylvania during that attempted assassination.
Members of the administration, including Vice President J.D. Vance, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Marco Rubio, and Pete Hegseth, all evacuated. FBI Director Kash Patel right there too. Just outside the ballroom, law enforcement say the alleged attacker charged past the security checkpoint. You see him here in this video posted by the president on social media. Secret Service racing to take him down and quickly apprehending him. Seen in this photo, also released by the president. One officer shot and taken to the hospital.
We do know that a U.S. Secret Service uniformed division officer was struck in his vest. He was transported to a local hospital for treatment. The suspect in this case, he was not struck by gunfire. The president speaking at the White House a short while later, describing the moment.
I heard a noise and sort of thought it was a tray. I thought it was a tray going down. I've heard that many times, and it was a pretty loud noise. And it was from quite far away. He hadn't breached the area at all.
Officials say the alleged gunman had a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives as he charged toward the ballroom. That man, now identified as 31-year-old Cole Allen. Overnight, SWAT teams, FBI, and local law enforcement swarming his home in California.
Clearly, things are escalating now that we have this light kind of on that second floor window there and a laser being pointed at the doorbell.
ABC News learning authorities believe Allen booked a room at the Hilton early this month. Officials say he allegedly previously made reference to targeting administration officials, but was not specific. The president determined, vowing to hold the event in the coming weeks.
We very much wanted to continue it because I don't like to let these sick people, these thugs, these horrible, horrible people change the fabric of our life, change the course of what we do.
Now, the president himself, personally, and the country are unfortunately all too familiar now with political violence. Trump was pressed about his own security posture, but he says he's not reconsidering attending events like this in the future, saying if he were to make changes, he essentially wouldn't be able to attend anything. He said that this is essentially now just part of the job.
You once, twice,
3 times a psyop. This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Once, twice, 3 times a psyop. Another fake assassination attempt on Donald Trump has occurred during the White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington. I'm sure it's real easy, apparently, to get access to the president, to get around these people, when the reality is that if you even wrote a threat online, they would make sure that you were not allowed within miles of the president of the United States of America, let alone to be in the same hotel and be armed with weapons like shotguns and sharp knives and the other objects we were told that the supposed assassin was carrying with him. Really, the only assassination that is actually occurring during these events is the continued assassination on common thought in the United States of America. Because if you're believing in these psychological operations, then you will believe in anything. And of course, we know how they have created this political divide. If this was a Democrat, of course, all Republicans would be calling this a fake psyop. If it was an attempt on Joe Biden, just like we're seeing Democrats calling this, of course, staged, and fake on Donald Trump, which is exactly what it is because the news itself is fake and manufactured. Now, this is the supposed third attempt, and as most of you know, I've been covering this since before the first assassination attempt on Donald Trump because this has been predicted. This has been put in predictive programming. This is scripted out. This is how magic works, and this entire thing is all about magic, as I'll show you in this video. Even a few weeks ago, I did a video called Trump's Fake Death is Imminent. They're telling us that a third and final assassination act is going to happen. And of course, the third act did happen, yet it wasn't the actual assassination attempt. Maybe we'll actually get up to 33 attempts on his life, and the 33rd one will be the one that kills the character Donald Trump, because of course, as we know, these are all characters that are playing a role, and these assassinations, these fake assassinations like Charlie Kirk, like Donald Trump, obviously help ignite the civil unrest in the divide and conquer motto that we're seeing right now. So all the videos on Trump's assassination attempts are on my website at callforanuprising.com. If you haven't joined the website, I highly recommend you do. It's $2.99 a month. The only reason there's a paywall for it is, one, to keep trolls out of the website from polluting the forums and posting things in the forum. And of course, the reason really is because of the unlimited bandwidth that I have to pay for to put all these videos up that are very long, and my entire archive of videos, which have been removed from YouTube and removed from many of the channels that I've had over the years. They're all available on the website. You could spend weeks, months going through those videos and learning a lot of things about signs and symbols, psyops, government operations, mind control, MK Ultra, you name it. Even if you want to go into the rabbit hole of looking at celebrities and their connections to things like adrenochrome, and of course the Illuminati and secret societies and Freemasonry as well. So it's all available on the website. All my videos on Donald Trump, even before there were fake assassination attempts. We saw so much predictive programming. I won't go into detail about it now, but you can check out the website. I highly recommend you join. And again, the website is ad-free. So what we're seeing trending, of course, before I show you some of the stuff that we just saw in the news clip, is again, enough is enough, right? We saw it last time with the fake assassination attempt. Enough is enough, right? All back to the Illuminati card game, which again, if you're not familiar with the Illuminati card game, that's where we even saw the Twin Towers going down. They show you this stuff ahead of time. This is all scripted and planned out. Donald Trump, even on the card, enough is enough. This is a game that came out, not a game, really, a deck of magic cards, so to speak, in the 1990s, where you can see Trump's face. And as you saw in the video clip, of course, we had senior political correspondents. I mean, this is where all the shills get together. The White House Correspondents is all these people who supposedly hate each other from Fox News and CNN all together at dinner. All the Democrats and Republicans who all hate one another, all together at dinner. All these people who criticize Trump on the fake news, all together in one room at dinner. And of course, we saw all of them immediately posting to their Instagram accounts after the supposed fake assassination attempt. None of them look scared, right? Making sure they get a video up because they know how mind control works. They know you're going to perceive this as true because you saw it with your own eyes, right? Rachel Scott. We saw another woman there posting images, doing videos, right after a gunshot. It's normal behavior, right? This is the problem. Nobody questions normal behavior, normal reactions that would occur if you were surrounded by an event like this. If you were in a mall, you're not running to your phone to film the guy shooting, you'd be running away. But what do we see at these events? We saw people filming it, of course, conveniently staying in their seats, down on the floor, then immediately going on Instagram to post videos about how scary it was, even though they couldn't look less scared, could they? We even got this hilarious one from the the Synagogue of Satan, CNN correspondent Wolf Blitzer on a cell phone posing for a photo so they could put that right on the main page of CNN. These are some of the other images. Look at them on the ground, making sure they're looking right in the camera lens, right at you, even showing. Look at this. Somebody lost their shoe. It was so chaotic that someone lost their shoe. Yet Donald Trump gave a speech about 20 minutes after it actually occurred. You could see people still in the room after it supposedly occurred. You could see RFK being rushed out. Couldn't look. He doesn't look like he has a care in the world. Even has one of the Secret Service members looking right at the camera. And maybe the best part of all, before we get into all of the stuff with the supposed shooter, and of course, Oz Perlman, Oz the Mentalist, the Satanist, the Kabbalist witch, or whatever you want to call him, magician, who is performing and hosting conveniently for your Christian president, Donald Trump. Let's just take a quick look at Erica Kirk, because of course Erica Kirk was there, and this really shows you that the government is making this so over-the-top fake because they know they can get away with it and people still buy into it, and nobody's going to do anything about it. So Erica Kirk was there, and of course, here's the video of her running out saying she just wants to go home. The acting continues to be off the charts with this actor.
I just want to go.
I mean, you can't make it up, right? Happen to be in attendance. Oh, flashbacks to Charlie, who's doing very well over in Israel. And of course, this is another operation of Israel, as you will see momentarily. But we'll start with Israel's Mossad agent himself, Oz Perlman. You may have seen this guy. He gets rolled out all over the place. He's on sports shows. He's on Joe Rogan, right? He has the answers to all these things. He knows people's PIN numbers to their phone. And that's is it magic or is it a Mossad agent? I mean, both are one and the same because we know, obviously, the Synagogue of Satan that calls itself Israel, which is not the true Israel, practices black magic. That's what's in the teachings of the Zohar. It's in the teachings of the Talmud, and specifically in the teachings of the Kabbalah, which, of course, Freemasons also practice themselves. So this is one of the big photos here, because right before the shots were fired, how convenient, that Oz Perlman was standing next to Donald Trump, showing him a note card. It probably said lights, camera, action. It probably said 3, 2, 1. You could see the bogus reaction on Melania Trump's face. And again, Oz the Mentalist on ESPN, even recently, people calling him a sorcerer, right? You have to remember that this is magic that's being performed. The people who are believing in these assassination attempts are under a spell. They're under hypnotism, right? The Bible speaks often about magic and sorcery, not partaking in those things. And most Christians, again, ignore those things. Just like when Jesus was giving exorcism, most Christians don't believe in demonic possession. And a lot of that is obviously because of some of these ridiculous preachers that we see who pretend to be giving exorcisms, like Benny Hinn, or some of these guys, these Christian preachers, or movies like The Exorcist, which dramatize those types of things. But we have to remember this. We're talking about magic, right? Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2, wherein in time past he walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. Satan. It's referencing Satan as the prince of the power of the air. But most people don't realize, what do they call a television? What have they called it since the television has been released to us publicly? The airwaves, right? You have Satan, the prince of the power of the air. You get your television signal through invisible airwaves that you can't see. And what else do you get through the air? You get your Wi-Fi. You get your laptops using airwaves, electromagnetic waves, which are sent invisibly, right? So the prince of the power of the air is the one who blurs your vision of reality because you think these things that you're seeing on the news are actually occurring, but they're manipulated. And what does God tell us about Satan himself? He is the father of lies. So we're living in a world where people are getting all of their information from a television screen and from a phone. And yes, sometimes they question if the news is fake or not because they've been trained to only question stories in the news that they disagree with. Like, is Donald Trump on Jeffrey Epstein's list? Is Donald Trump, should he be arrested and put on trial? Those things. They go, that's fake news. They're trying to get Trump arrested and thrown in jail. The news itself is fake. It's a manipulation. You see these things carried out. They want you to see the fake assassination attempts. They want you to see Trump's ear fakely get shot. They want you to see Charlie Kirk because in your mind, what you believe you're seeing is true because you're being manipulated by the airwaves that you're watching these things on. And again, the prince of the power of the air is Satan. So here is a clip right before it all went down with Oz the Mentalist, of course, right next to Donald Trump and Melania, doing a little magic trick. But the reality of the matter is it wasn't the magic trick on stage that was being performed on Trump and Melania. The magic trick is being performed on the audience who is witnessing this and then covering it and talking about it as if it actually occurred. That's how spellcasting works. So again, that's magic. That's how it works. All of this stuff you see going on is magic being performed on the audience, through the airwaves, through the internet, the Wi-Fi frequencies, a perception of reality that is being manipulated by Satan himself and his minions and deceivers who control this, which is, again, part of why independent thinkers they want removed from platforms like YouTube because they can't control independent thinkers. That's why channels like mine have been deleted over 100 times and many others who speak the truth. So, Mentalist, can a mentalist trick Trump? Oz Perlman will try in a room full of journalists. Oz Perlman was the host of this event. How apropos that they chose Oz Perlman, who is a magician, and Donald Trump, remember, is a prophet chosen by God, right? And who really, Satan is the enemy of God, right? Satan and his minions who practice what? Sorcery, magic, all things that are forbidden by followers of Christ. But of course, we know in this day and age, Christians are so deceived. They're actually practicing in sorcery without realizing it. This New Age Christianity, they're going to see psychics and things like that. And then when you tell them it's witchcraft and sorcery, they dismiss it because they choose what they want to believe in the Bible as real and what they don't. Which is why things like the 4 pillars of the earth, right? And a firmament. Oh, well, that's not real, right? Oh, no, that's not real, but it's in the Bible. Right, but then there's other verses they do believe, and then there's ones they choose not to believe in. We could even obviously look at the book of Revelation and the synagogue of Satan, which consistently tells us about people who claim to be Jews and are not, and are of the synagogue of Satan. That's what we're witnessing right now. So this magician hosted the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He's been plastered all over the place, okay? Oz Perlman must have made a pact with Satan. You can see him doing the Illuminati pyramid. What is he, a member of Rockefeller? Did he sign a contract with Jay-Z? I love when these guys hold up this symbol and then people try to justify it with Jay-Z and say, well, that's Jay-Z's logo. So Jay-Z's logo is a pyramid. Rockefeller is in the Rockefeller family, one of the founding families really of the New World Order and everything else, the Federal Reserve, United Nations, right? Here he's holding it up. Is he just a fan of theirs or is he actually a practicing occultist? Well, of course he is, right? He's on a cover of a magazine, Penguin Magic Monthly, but this is sorcery, folks. And here, why don't we think about this and what it truly is? Oz Perlman is a magician, right? Oz Perlman happens to claim to be Jewish. Oz Perlman can read your mind. But is he the next great Jewish magician? Well, he's everywhere. We see him all over the place. He's a Mossad operative. His father, in fact, moved the family from Israel to the United States when he was 3 years old. There's your number 3, right? And again, these books, Christians believe that the synagogue of Satan, the people who claim to be something they are and are not, they believe that they go on, like Christians go to church on Sundays or Saturday nights, whatever. They believe that these people go and read the Old Testament. That's what they believe. That's how dumb they are. And I try to explain it, they don't listen. They think that they go there, they read the Old Testament, they're waiting for their Messiah. They just don't believe that Jesus was the Messiah, right? In fact, they hate Jesus Christ. If you read the books that they actually read, like the Talmud, they talk about Jesus burning in hell, being covered in feces and things like that. Things that would get your blood boiling if you were hot in your faith, right? And not lukewarm. These books that they follow, the Kabbalah, the Zohar, the Talmud, all are teaching Jewish mysticism, which is another fancy word for magic. And the same ones who follow it, the Kabbalah, also are taught the same things in Freemasonry, okay? Freemasonry follows the Kabbalah and magic as well. And let me just play a few clips of you from Oz Perlman being on a couple of shows where he's referred to as a demon, he's referred to as a Satanist, he's referred to as a witch, he's referred to as all of these things, just so you can know who Donald Trump brought into the White House Correspondents to host host this magic spell, which just happened to coincide with another fake assassination attempt. And again, the magic being performed, as I've said for years, it's magic on your mind, if you actually believe this stuff that you see on the news. But here he is, another one of these magicians. We'll get to the great magician Trump himself momentarily.
Joining us is a demon. Okay? Yeah. This is real deal. Hybrid. Oh, there you go. There you go, pal. Hey, you're a demon, Oz. Mel? You're a hybrid.
Oh, my God. He's right. How could he do that?
What?
Honey, I'm going to tell you something. Wow. You are Satan himself.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
What's going on with you? Wow, this is crazy.
Oh, my God.
He's a witch.
DM me. She's like, come on the show. I'm like, I will, Roseanne. I got a big announcement.
She is frightened every time you come on her show because you freak her the hell out.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know. It's all black magic. I can't have him on. I know you have a big announcement.
I use my powers only for good, I swear.
What? 3 of diamonds.
You said 11. Lift it up and show everybody the 11th.
Oh, my God! How did you do that?
He's a witch.
How did you, a witch? I don't...
Oh, my God. That's crazy.
Are you representative of Satan?
Do you
I have not sold my soul for the devil. No, lift up that quarter yourself. I don't want to touch anything. Lift it up.
Just the word underscore?
Look, lift up the quarter.
But I have no idea if it's in the book.
And look right. Can you tell them what word? I'm going to flip this up. I want to get closest to If we can get a tight shot.
Get this man out of here.
This is
black magic.
This is black. Can you zoom in? And can you see that?
On the word underscore.
Is underscore right there. That is
not planned. This is like black magic, what you're doing. I don't even know what this is.
So he's referred to as a demon, a witch, a Satanist, performing black magic. Just ignore it, right? Trump can't pick who hosts these events. He has nothing to do with it, right? That's all these people need to hear to dismiss it. He didn't pick him. He didn't rub shoulders with these guys. They just throw him on him. He just shows up. Everybody's got it out for him. But somehow they can't seem to assassinate him with the technology we have today. We have DARPA bullets that could curve around trees. We have heart attack weapons. We have literally people that can have their houses blown up from these these smart meters that are put on there. We have rays and stuff the government has that can give people heart attacks on the spot. But Trump just keeps avoiding it. Because, of course, we were told, because of propaganda, that it's divine intervention, that God has chosen him, right? Incredible. And Trump even happened to do a little Bible read this week right before the assassination attempt. I'm sure that wasn't tied into knowing that this fake assassination attempt was coming so that they could start building that narrative back up again about Trump being chosen by God. You might say, well, why are they doing this stuff? Well, for lots of reasons. People are catching on to Trump being a puppet for Israel and Netanyahu and the mass genocides that are being occurred on civilians, especially children, right? We obviously see the market manipulation going on where, the stock market has gone up to all-time highs where we're supposedly in conflict with Iran and oil prices and gas are through the roof. It makes absolutely zero sense unless, of course, insider trading is going on. That's exactly what's going on. And people are getting mad about it because there's a lot of people in the stock market who bet against the market and bet it to go down. So for those of you that don't know the stock market, you don't just buy a stock hoping it goes up. There's people who strategically bet against the market. It's called the bear market because they see that the stock market's likely to crash, especially when we're going into war with countries like Iran and we're blocking oil from being delivered, which is going to lead to electricity shortages, power outages, and poverty, right? So people have obviously gone heavy against the market, seeing all this stuff, and now the market has shot up in a straight line since March 30th to all-time highs while all of this stuff is going on, and they're calling Trump out on market manipulation as well because they don't want people that you would consider retail investors, people like me and you, if we invested, you're called a retail investor, making money off the market. Because the only ones that are supposed to make money off the market are the insiders and the institutions like BlackRock and Vanguard. So that's another thing that people have caught on to in addition to Israel that people are upset about. So this distracts them. And of course, we'll hear people talking about Epstein as well, but that's part of the game. So let's get in to the supposed shooter, because this gets even funnier, right? This is the picture we get. It's the guy stripped down, naked, his clothes are off, his shirt's off on the floor. Within minutes, within an hour or two, got all the CCTV footage. You think, you know how hard it is? How many of these true crime shows do we see? We've all seen them before. Where you've heard of a murder and it takes a while to get the actual footage, or they won't even show you the footage. They'll just say, the police have the footage, they're not going to show you the actual footage. It's too disturbing. No, then hours. Conveniently, the CCTV footage is just released. They weren't like, hey, we should probably evaluate it for a little bit here. See if we missed anything. We could end up looking bad. We could end up looking like that. We probably should. No. It's released to the public immediately. Why? Because the perception immediately goes into your mind. Oh, this is real. Here's cameras that were inside of the lobby that found the guy. So this proves in your mind without you actually using critical thought that it's real. Because remember, when you're watching the news and watching these clips, your brain is in a delta phase brain wave. You're easily programmed and manipulated. You believe what you see. It's like being under hypnotism. So they get you all this stuff right off the bat. Then they tell us, who is Cole Allen? Right? Another one of these names like George Glass, John Doe. These fake names are always very easy to pronounce. It's deliberately done. So then when you're at your water cooler tomorrow for work or during this week, whenever you go to work, that Cole Allen will become another household name because these are easy names to remember. It's not like it's Dan Wickershaw or something where you can't pronounce it. They're always just cookie cutter names where it's a first name and a first name that's, is the last name, right? Allen, a last name, but also could be a first name. Very easy to remember. There's some of the stuff that they've released on him. You could see him standing here. He was a teacher, of course. This plays into the left-right, that liberal ideologies in schools. And again, that's all part of what we're seeing, the tearing down of the institutions of the school, which again is a good thing. I've covered this many times. I do not support the school system. It's nothing but lies. You learn nothing. You learn no trades. But they're actually deliberately tearing it down now so they can bring in AI governance and AI education, where they're saying, look, your kid can be raised by AI and learn way more than having some lib teacher. Conservatives will be on board. Democrats will be on board because they don't want some conservative teacher. Everybody will agree. And of course, who really wins in the end? The World Economic Forum, the United Nations, and the real deep state, right? So look at this picture of him that they released. You can see the pyramid behind him. I'm sure that's real coincidental, as well as this picture from his Instagram account that's been circulating where you can see Israel Defense Forces. Now, some claim that it's AI, some don't. There's other pictures of him wearing different shirts. You can't really tell, but this is a common calling card that these guys are obviously all working for the Mossad because these are Mossad operations, just like September 11th, just like all of them. They're the ones who carry this out, the Mossad and the CIA, which are one and the same. In fact, you got him with the shirt there. And then who else did we recently see that they released to us conveniently a picture of Jeffrey Epstein wearing the same thing, Israeli Defense Forces shirt on an airplane. Of course, they're playing into some of this stuff now with Israel. This is done by design because, again, remember what divide and conquer. They want to divide everything as much as possible, which means they don't want to just divide you into Republican and Democrat. They want Republicans divided over issues as well. Epstein and Trump, Israel and Palestine, all of it. Because the more you divide people and continue to break it down into more and more denominations like they have in the church, the less likely there is for an uprising and people to unite together because they have so many things that they disagree over. So they don't even care at this point about any of the stuff with Israel. That's why they put pictures of Epstein out wearing the Israeli Forces shirt, which again looks like it's a AI picture as well. But all the stuff they've given you with Epstein, nobody asks questions about who's giving you the information. Remember, these people don't believe CNN is real. They believe it's fake news. Yet CNN is covering the Epstein stuff almost every single day, right? But so they go, oh, well, that's real. Well, they have to cover some stuff that's true, right? So it's just pretty much them picking what they want to believe is real and what they don't want to believe is real. But the reality of the matter is Epstein, all these guys were practicing eugenics. They were practicing pedophilia. They're practicing all of these things that are involved in the occult and the OTO. And they were doing it underground, and they do it under our feet every day. There's cities underneath our feet. Most people don't know. They're looking up at an island thinking, oh, yeah, they're getting flown to this island. They're doing it underground, okay? Your tax money is funded in underground world, underground highways, underground network. That's where these missing children go. They do not get flown to these islands with passports or with pilots who aren't going to confess tales. They get taken underground. There's no trace of evidence of where they possibly go in a world where there's a camera on every single street corner. So here's the other thing that ties into all the stuff with magic. This is stuff that's come out on Mr. Cole Thomas Allen. He's a NASA fellow and a teacher, right? So the teacher part ties into the lib agenda, as does NASA in a sense, but we know there's many Republicans who are so stupid they actually believe that we can go to space. Christians believe we can go to space. Even the Bible talks about a firmament, and the footage itself should be enough to wake anybody up, but still they don't want to believe it. They love NASA for some reason. It's pretty unbelievable, but NASA fellow, okay? So he's a tutor, he's a NASA fellow. For anyone who doesn't know, a NASA fellow is a prestigious designation for researchers, typically graduate students, who's supported by National Fellowships to advance agency goals in science, tech, engineering, and mathematics, okay? So you can see on this guy's LinkedIn page, you could see some of the stuff that he's done, and you can see right there, NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Now, why is that actually important? Not just because we know NASA is a front for child trafficking and psychological operations, because though that money doesn't go to flying into space, because we know that they shoot up air balloons and they shoot them up over into the Bermuda Triangle. They do not go anywhere. So all that money obviously goes to different things. And part of that is obviously trafficking of drugs and human beings. But I'm showing you this because the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, because we're talking about magic, right? Who was the founder of that JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory? Well, it was Jack Parsons, right? A group of researchers, most notably Jack Parsons. That's what he's known for, okay? And Jack Parsons was a committed and influential occultist. In fact, I covered it, videos on the website. CBS put out a show about him. Right? Oh, he's great. Jack Parsons and his parties. And oh, he was so smart, but he was a little weird because he practiced magic, right? He practiced human sacrifice, blood rituals with Aleister Crowley, right? So he's the one responsible for creating that specific jet propulsion laboratory at NASA, which this guy happened to work at. And of course, Jack Parsons is one of the most notorious occultists to ever exist. He's an influential occultist, member of the Ordo Templi Orientis, okay, which again, founder, devout follower, Aleister Crowley. He's a follower of Aleister Crowley. And again, if you're not familiar with Aleister Crowley, the man who calls himself the B666, they performed the Babylon working ritual, which many people believe was a ritual to bring in the Antichrist, a ritual that was done called the Babylon Working, a series of sex magic rituals performed by rocket scientist Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard, the creator, of course, of Scientology. And they manifested the Thelemic goddess Babylon on earth as a human incarnation. And the rituals drew on Aleister Crowley's teachings to shatter the boundaries of space and time. So there's a connection right there with the occultist himself, Aleister Crowley, and Jack Parsons, because supposedly the shooter, Mr. Israeli Defense Forces, happened to partake, spend some time at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which again has nothing to do with jet propulsion, has to do with black magic and sorcery, because that's what this stuff actually is. And the news itself is black magic and sorcery. So you can even see in the photo here, Oz Perlman with the sun behind his head, sun worship. I mean, it's all right in front of our faces, right? And of course, it goes back to the magician. The real true magician here is Donald Trump. As Marina Abramovich, who everybody out there knows, Marina Abramovich is a witch. Remember from Pizzagate? All the stuff with Lady Gaga, the cannibalistic parties, right? The stuff that spirit cooking that she drew on the walls with coagulated blood of children, her connection to Israel, right? The rituals she have with her head on the wall, Satanists like Jay-Z, right? Well, here she is talking about how Donald Trump is the great magician to bring in this order out of chaos and how he is needed for this.
Funny opinion, but there is in Lapland there is a group of the shamans there who do something called collective dreaming. They will go together in seclusion and do the rituals with eating very little food and being in a solitude for a long time, and they will go and dream the dreams. And the dream have to be collective, same dream. So coming out of this dream, once the shaman told me that actually the best thing happened in this planet right now is the Trump to be the president. I said, how is this possible? It's the best thing to happen. He said, yes, because he's so irrational, he's so crazy. That's actually create that awakening, that we finally wake up. Because before it will be another guy and everything looks similar. But he's so different than anything else. So he's the magician who waking us up. What do you think about that? That kind of theory. Trump is the best thing happened ever to us. That he is the magician of the highest order. That he is there in his irrational mind to create confusion in order, that the human being can find new order. And it's not so stupid thinking about this in that way. It's completely turning things upside down.
So the great magician strikes again, because the magic being performed is on the audience who believes that the deep state is trying to assassinate Donald Trump, that he's not one of them, that he's not an actor, a character, because they believe the news. They believe the airwaves, which are manipulated by Satan himself. All the frequencies that are being used that you can't see with your own eyes, that give you Wi-Fi. You don't question where it comes from, what it actually is. You just turn it on and you get programmed by it, right? A gunman got close to Donald Trump once again. Trump, without even blinking, does an interview right after it to make it seem like he's an alpha male and he's tough and he's strong, just like when he pumped his fist at the fakest assassination attempt. One of the fakest things we've ever seen is Trump's assassination attempt, the first one on stage in Butler. These people just don't want to actually believe it. All the narratives out there about how they're doing this because Donald Trump is doing so well and he's so successful, and they're going to, they just continue to go after him. They're hinting eventually that it will end that way. And of course, we know it's going to end with a fake assassination of the character Donald Trump because it'll cause the uttermost chaos. And the more they build this up with miss after miss after miss, and enough is enough, when this actually happens and this final curtain is pulled, these people will lose their minds. And that, again, could cause civil war here in America. You might say, no, it won't. But you see how absolutely unhinged these people are on both sides, the extreme liberals and the extreme conservatives. And they're luring more normal, regular conservative people into being MAGA, into following Trump with stories like this. That's how we've gotten to this point. The first assassination attempt created this absolute psychosis that we'd never seen before. There were Trump supporters and there was MAGA. And then after that first assassination attempt, all of a sudden we saw the church. People are going to church talking about Trump, correlating Trump with prophecy and with God and how they're trying to stop him and God saved him. And now it just gets worse and worse and worse. And these people are getting sucked right into it, hook, line, and sinker. But make no mistake about it, this was a psyop of epic proportions, although it wasn't really that epic. I mean, it sounded like trays dropped, a couple of drums, somebody was drumming, in the background. Some people run. Of course, most people still stay in there and decide to take selfies and go on Instagram instead of running, which would be the natural reaction if somebody was shooting around you. If you're at the mall and you're at gunshots, I don't think you're getting out your phone, trying to look for where the guy shooting is and filming, and then going on Instagram saying, hey, I'm at the mall for some of my followers out there. There's somebody shooting. Just wanted to say hi and let you guys know I'm here at the mall and there's somebody shooting bullets. I mean, nobody even thinks about common sense, common human reaction. And they know this. The government knows they've got everyone wrapped around their finger. They're so consumed with technology and there's so much fake information they're consuming that they can't even believe that the majority of their lives, that everything they've been taught is a lie, and the majority of the things they see is make-believe. It's their perception of reality that has been blurred. So you can expect more of these eventually. Like I've said for years, there will be a final assassination attempt. I thought it would be on the third attempt, but I guess they needed to rile up some more support for Trump because they claim the polls are down. That's all make-believe stuff. But you could feel some of the support not as strong as it used to be for Donald Trump because of the stuff with Iran, right? The stuff with Ukraine he said he was going to do, the market manipulation and insider trading, obviously just being side by side with Israel is making people a little bit suspicious. So they threw it out here now, but maybe it'll be the 33rd attempt on his life. That's the final one. It would be pretty fitting if it is indeed. If any other information comes out on it, obviously I will cover it. And for those of you, again, if you want to see videos prior to the first assassination attempt, I've talked about it for years, all the predictive programming with Trump assassinations that we've seen going back to pre-president of the United States in 2016. All that stuff is available on the website at callforanuprising.com. It's worth the $2.99 a month. It's the cost of a bottle of water for unlimited information. Again, there's a forum over there. You could share stuff with me, interact with other like-minded people. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.